Everything disappeared in a blinding flash. Ryan could hardly see for all the swirling and flashing lights surrounding them, a vortex of air drowning everything out. It looked like Anna was screaming. He tried to step toward her but couldn't move his feet. He looked down and saw only blackness below him. The earth was gone, as were the huge stones in the sky. While he watched, Matt's jeans and shirt changed to a long dark robe, a staff appearing in one hand. Startled, Ryan looked at Eric, who now wore leather from neck to toe, a bandolier of knives across his chest, and a short sword at one hip. Then this disappeared, and for a moment he was naked before his earth clothes returned. Ryan's eyes went to Anna, just as she switched from bare to her normal clothes, and a moment later she wore a long white robe. He glanced down at himself and saw a suit of golden armor, a big sword strapped to his waist, and a golden lance in one hand. Then the noise, wind, and darkness abruptly stopped. Squinting and shielding his eyes in the bright sunlight, Ryan tried to make out his surroundings. The air tingled and he felt invigorated and refreshed, as if awakening from a deep sleep. Words of blue fire were fading from the stone pillars around them, but it wasn't Stonehenge. These were a foot high in diameter and well kept. The tallest were at the back, and they decreased in size to 1 inch high in the front. A raised dais lay underfoot, where more decorative markings faded from view. Above them, in a towering hall of gray limestone, sunlight poured in from huge stained-glass windows depicting dragons, elves, knights, and other fantastic sights. And there were people, standing at the far end of the room, staring in amazement, dressed in finery befitting a royal medieval court. Scores of them stood against the tapestry-covered walls, fur-lined or silken tunics and leggings as well-kept as their brushed hairs and trimmed beards on the men. In the room's center stood a tall, robed figure, white hair and a matching beard flowing past his belted waist. A large book lay open on a podium before him. He lowered a staff similar to the one in Matt's hand to the floor and looked every bit the wizard. Behind him stood a pair of thrones, one empty, the other bearing a regal woman in an elaborate gown, a golden crown upon her head. Nearby stood people that looked like they might be her advisors. One of them rose and came toward them with an outstretched hand. "The gods be praised! They have come!" The crowd murmured, and the queen rose slowly, eyes moving from one arrival to the next, studying their faces. Ryan didn't know what to say or do, and sensed that little of either was probably best. At last, the queen raised her chin regally. "Welcome," she began in a clear voice, a smile growing. "Welcome to Oleana, capital of the kingdom of Alunia, on the world of Hanan. I am Queen Lorella, ruler of this land, and I have summoned you for a noble quest, to free our land of dragons as before, and return peace to our world." While a round of cheers greeted this announcement, Matt leaned over to Ryan and quietly repeated, "Quest? Did she say dragons?" Anna whispered, wide-eyed. "Yes," replied Ryan in amazement, wondering if they were sharing a delusion. He was dreaming. That was it. He was back at their hotel room having a cool dream. He relaxed. "We are most excited by your return to Hanan," the queen continued, "and word will go forth at once that the Ellorian Champions have answered our call. For so many worlds depend upon your aid that all will rejoice at your return after these many years." She paused expectantly, and Ryan realized all the important-looking people were staring at him. The queen clearly thought they were someone else, but now was probably not the best time to ask who. He cleared his throat. "Thank you for this reception, Your Majesty," he replied, voice booming off the tall walls as he played a part just like at Renfest. Improvising this sort of thing came naturally. Why couldn't all of his dreams be this awesome?